holding up Reclaimer activation infinitely here. Don't need to do anything else as long as this Reclaimer is untapped. Alright guys, we are here for round 3 with the Reclaimer list that you see on the screen. And if you're not familiar with the list, then check out match 1, where I cover in detail a deck tech of the deck, everything that you need to know about this list and its inspirations. And yeah, we are currently 2-0, so hopefully we can get this 3-0 going into round 3 here. And I have nothing else to say. I will see you guys in the games. Alrighty, let's hop in here for the match. See if I can stumble through a couple more complex double Amulet Reclaimer lines. Not really my forte, but we are trying our best here, and so far we're doing pretty well, so see what we are against this time. On the draw, playing against Ballastine 93. The 93rd one. It's very important. And here we just have the quintessential turn 3 Titan hand by going turn 1 Amulet, turn 2 Dryad, turn 3 Titan, so seems good enough to me. We can even play Cavern Naming Giant here to make sure it's uncounterable. Or possibly Cavern Naming Dryad. Ooh, drawing the Garrison is a nasty surprise. Not really my favorite draw there. We also could just be getting Force and Negation with this Amulet, but... Alright, well, I think I'm leaning on the Flagstones so we can save our Cavernous Soul's decision. Alright, Amulet resolved. Hey, that's great news. I don't know, maybe not playing the Cavern Naming Dryad was a punt. Our opponent has Breeding Pool, okay. And they are... Oh, okay, so this is a Living End deck. They cycle Striped Riverwinder. Well, we have Chalices in the board for this matchup, and I don't think our opponent can even beat Chalice of the Void on 0. We'll see if they have a way to bounce it. I guess they could, like, Brazen Borrower to bounce it, but... Yeah, playing against Living End is going to be a little difficult. At least if we sacrifice Flagstones, we get to replace it with a land, so... Yeah, I think we're just, playing a Dryad here. It plays into them having Living End, but there's not much we can do about it. We'll float, and I guess just keep the Sanctuary in hand. We'll play the Dryad. We'll play Cavern Naming Giant. And I guess we just pass, and we don't want to put more lands in play than we have to, so we don't want to tap this for green using the Dryad ability and play Grazer, which would usually be the play, but here I think that there's no real reason to do that. And in fact, having the Grazer in hand along with these bounce lands means that this will give us +1 mana out of the blue, so our opponent's just going crazy on cycling. Sadly, we can't instant speed Bojuka Bog them. If we put a Bog on the stack, they can just Living End in response, so kind of awful, but not much we can do about it. I mean, I kind of feel like we just have to cast Titan here. We're going to end up facing down a Striped Riverwinder, a Street Wraith, and a Curator of Mysteries here. That's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 power. Yikes. And I guess our Titan just has to set up Talari West and Simic Growth. We can play a Titan after this. We could also make our opponent have the Violent Outburst that they appear to be holding up. If they don't have Violent Outburst, then we just kill them. Yeah, I mean, we have to cast a Titan here. We'll see what they do. Oh, we actually can't kill them thanks to the Stronghold anyways. Well, we're going to set up the Simic Growth Chamber Talari West thing and just hope for the best. I guess we could Grazer out the Stronghold so we can get... No, but then I guess we could get Crumbling Vestige and Vesuva copying the Stronghold and still attack. Assuming they don't bounce our Dryad or something crazy. That is a possible line, since it will take 1 mana and give us 1 mana back. That does work. Assuming that they don't Violent Outburst us, which I don't think is a great assumption. I'm kind of expecting a Violent Outburst here, not gonna lie. If we're casting the Grazer here, now is the time. I'm going to float with the Cavern here. And we'll just pick up the Cavern, I guess. We don't want to have to sacrifice this one if at all possible. Yeah, I think we just have to Grazer out the Stronghold and try to go for lethal. No, but if we go for lethal and get Living Ended, then we just die, right? Nah, I guess we're casting the Titan and getting Talari West and Simic Growth, since our opponent will probably have to Living End anyways, so there's no point in getting Bojuka Bog. And we'll go ahead and transmute for a Summoner's Pact here. And just try to set up for a Titan this upcoming turn. At least we don't have to worry about the balance effect. I keep thinking about how many lands we're going to have in play, but I just realized I was thinking as if we were playing its Electro Balance, and that's not the case. So maybe not playing the Grazer earlier was a bit of a punt. At least now it can chump block for us, though, so we'll transmute. And even if they living in us, we can get a Titan into play this upcoming turn. Probably not into play and attacking. Maybe. Our opponent, Violent Outburst, so they did have it. We'll see what they reveal here. Living End, of course, and a number of other cards. Probably all cyclers, so Living End is fine here. I guess we lost out on 2 points of damage, but... Okay, we'll transmute for our Summoner's Pact, and we'll pass it back, I guess. Yep, this is one of those matchups where the Chalice in the sideboard is for specifically this matchup. I guess it cuts off our own Summoner's Pact, but that's far less important than stopping their Living End shenanigans. I think we can just kill them here as well if they don't have another Living End. Even if they have another Living End, if we leave 4 lands in play, we can just kill them off the Titan ETB trigger with a Dryad in play, so... I think we actually can just set up lethal here. Let's see if they revealed anything important. Brazen Borrowers, which I don't think we can play around. Waker of Waves, just a cycler. Shardless Agent, of course. Well, yeah, I don't think there's much to say. We just got to get Titan into play and attacking. There's our Titan as well. So, we play Garrison, float 7 mana. Good. Oh, we don't have enough green to Grazer out the Stronghold and still be able to cast Titan. Let's see. We cast Titan, get a Selesnya Sanctuary and a Valakut. Pick up a bounce land, Grazer out the Stronghold with red and white floating. I guess that works. Do we want to play a regular land then, or the Garrison? Play Garrison. No, I guess we have to play Garrison, right? No, it doesn't really matter. Titan, Valakut, Sanctuary, that's 3 mana, Grazer, leaving red-white floating, Stronghold, yeah. So we actually can play the Cavern here to make sure we're not getting blown out by a counterspell. Okay. Cavern on Giant. Okay, so we float the uncounterable mana. We'll cast a Titan. Sorry, I had some interruptions going on here. Alright, so here we search for the Sanctuary and the Valakut. Okay, so we're making it through. Float here, pick up, I guess, the Cavern. I don't think it really matters. We'll Grazer. Interesting. We can actually pack for a second Dryad. Play Garrison. No. Dang it, because we're going to be 1 short on the attack here. But I guess our opponent won't have lethal this upcoming turn. If they Violent Outburst us, we'll be taking 9. No, we can block the Street Wraith, right? This is Swamp Walk. So we can block Street Wraith and this and take 4. Or block this and the Curator and take 3. I guess we're fine here. There's probably a way to cast Dryad here. It's a shame I had to be so distracted. Alright, we'll just go ahead and haste our Titan here. I guess we can get a bounce land and a regular land, and then pack for a Dryad and play it in our second main phase. So, make our opponent use a Living End effect here if they have it. Oh, they have Petty Theft. Yeah, there's no way we could have played around that. We're still not technically dead. Haven't cast a Pact, so we'll just pass it back. Cycle, that's fine. The block takes 7 down to 1. So no Violent Outburst is what we're hoping for here. They can't have the second Violent Outburst. And they have 1 extra draw here if they cycle another creature. I guess 2 if they have a land as well, to try to find Violent Outburst if they don't have it already. And next turn we can just pack for a Dryad, put it into play, cast Titan, and probably just win on the spot. So... Very odd game 1 here. It's not very common that you have a Dryad and Titan on the battlefield, basically, and a Dryad and Titan in the graveyard, too. Alright, our opponent concedes. Okay, now we get to bring in our Chalice of the Void. Say what? Relic is good here too. It is possible our opponent has Blood Moon, but I kind of doubt it. Pithing Needle doesn't really do much. We can name a Cycler, but that's not really worth it. Prismatic Ending doesn't do much. I guess Grazer's good. Although Reclaimer is actually very good in this matchup, searching up Bojuka Bog at instant speed, so we can trim on Summoner's Pact. Maybe not that high, though. I think that Summoner's Pact is pretty good here, actually. We can trim on Cavern, as I don't really think our opponent's playing Counter Magic, so I think it's fine to cut. Ghost Quarter is irrelevant. Vera Crossroads is pretty unimportant, too. Trim that. Hopefully we get to just turn 1 a Chalice on 0, and our opponent can't do anything about it, and we just win. It's every time I've tried to turn 0 a Chalice, it's gotten Force of Negation, and I expect this to be much the same. Although this hand has potential to win even through our opponent forcing our Chalice, so we'll keep. We get the turn 1 Amulet as well, with Grazer for a little bit of ramp. Even if our opponent forces our Chalice, if we top deck a 3-drop, we can still just cast it on turn 2 here, and we have 2 draw steps to find it, so go to our main phase. Saga. Saga, you say? Alright, let's start. I guess we could lead on Stronghold into Amulet and make our opponent force negation that, since we have Saga back up anyways. And if they don't force the Amulet, then we can just play the Chalice on 0. I guess maybe if we're planning, they cycle strike with Riverwinder. I guess they're looking for force. If they have it, then okay, they Street Wraith. If they force this, then the Chalice is good to go. And this makes me think the Chalice is good to go, so I'm casting it on 0. This does cut off our own Summoner's Pact, however, so not the perfect most best thing, but I think we can win with a Chalice on 0. It's worth noting, even if we had a 0-mana artifact to search for with Saga, we could just put it directly into play. Foundation Breaker, say what? They can kill our Chalice? No, this is not how it's supposed to go. That's some sick tech from our opponent. At least it didn't kill our Amulet. And there's our Reclaimer. So this game is pretty in the bag, I would say. Are we playing Reclaimer here? I think that we kind of have to. They're going to get back all these things and be able to kill our Amulet if they living in us this upcoming turn, however, which is just pretty awful. We could try to Grazer into Reclaimer. I guess that doesn't make sense. Well, we're just going to hope they're not going to living in us, and we're going to play the Reclaimer, and then from then on we can hold up the Bojuka Bog. And barring that, yeah, I don't know what our plan is if they're just living in us, but we'll have to try to make one. I guess if they're living in us, we have up to 5 mana this upcoming turn, so we'll be able to play Saga, and then the turn after, potentially cast a Titan if we draw it, so I don't know. We'll have to try to work it out. I guess if they do living in us, we can use Saga to try to trade with their... Ooh, we untapped with the Reclaimer. That is so good for us. Whew, that is so good for us. All right, well, we're playing the Saga here, and we're going to Grazer out the fetch land, I guess? Holding up Reclaimer activation infinitely here. Don't need to do anything else as long as this Reclaimer is untapped. And the second they try to do anything to this Reclaimer, we will activate it to find Bojuka Bog. And that is the game. Admittedly, they could do something like bounce our Reclaimer, and then, you know, we could actually just Bojuka Bog them now, which isn't the worst possible idea. I don't see a reason to. We can just wait on this for a very long time. In fact, we can use Saga to make some constructs here. Alright, let's go ahead and fetch, I think. We'll get the Breeding Pool, I guess, since we don't have any white cards to be playing. We'll untap. And then we'll untap again. We'll draw. Saga up to 2 is fine. So I guess we don't want to tap the Saga. That's going to be making our threats. So we'll play a second Amulet here. We'll play the Growth Chamber. We could potentially, like, Reclaimer for a T-West, and start trying to go off here, but I don't see a reason to try to do that, so let's just activate Saga. We'll untap the Growth Chamber again, and I guess just pick up the Stronghold. We can win slowly with these constructs, I think. And our Saga is about to get a Relic of Progenitus in play, which will be even more fun for our opponent to play around. And it'll just stay in play while they're not doing anything, so we can just beat them down with Construct. So we already have double Amulet, so there's really no reason for us not to just get the relic here. We'll float the mana as if it matters, and get this relic. And oh, we could have activated. Why did I not activate for another Construct? That was a huge punt. Oh well, we'll play the Stronghold. We'll go to combat. I was totally intending on doing the Construct, but I was so busy thinking about our Relic of Progenitus that I just completely missed it. Oh well. Now we have the freedom on their instep to activate Reclaimer to find a Saga, though, since we can Relic instead. If they do go for the Living End. I guess that way we lose our board state, but... Now, I think we'd rather be able to Reclaimer out a Bog and then keep Relic in play for a potential activation. So I don't think we want to Reclaimer for a Saga here. Shardless Agent. Alright, see what the Cascade is. Living End, of course. Well, that on the stack, we're obviously going to be activating Reclaimer. I think we don't need to tap the Sanctuary, the Simic Growth Chamber here, so we'll activate our Reclaimer, sacrificing the Temple Garden. We'll get that Bog, of course. I guess they can still get one creature here, quite possibly. The mana here doesn't really matter, so we'll just let it go. We'll Bog them. And, yeah, Living End is fine. You got a 2/2. Grief. Alright, that's not going to do much. Let's just go ahead and exile the card from their yard. Evoking Grief is very fine for us here. What did they exile? I have no clue. Alright, yeah, you can see our hand of all lands. I guess we're going to pick up the Bog here now. That makes a lot of sense to me. First things first, we're going to Relic our opponent. If they want to keep the Grief in their yard, they have to sack fetch land. They don't. Okay. I guess it would die anyways when it came out. So, yeah, and now we just get to Titan them. So we'll play the Growth Chamber. And I guess we might as well just pick up the Bog. Titan. We'll leave the green floating, because we like green. And our opponent scoops it up. Well, that was pretty convincing against a opponent playing Living End. I guess being able to search for a Relic and having Chalice that they have to deal with and having Reclaimer up is very good in this type of matchup. But anyways, thank you guys for joining me for this match. We're currently 3-0. Hope to see you guys for the next round. I have to say, I'm a pretty big fan of playing Reclaimer. Even if it's not necessarily the best thing to be doing in the deck, it just gives you so much more flexibility. It makes you feel like you're playing a deck that has a lot more options, and that I like. And yeah, I'll see you guys for round 4. This is Redface Menace, signing off.